All right, today we're going to talk about something that's absolutely foundational to your long-term quality of life. We're going to uncover a hidden factor that could be the single most important element for your health. So let me ask you something right off the bat. What if the single biggest threat to your future health, your energy, your vitality, everything, was completely silent? Something happening inside your body right now that you can't even feel. Okay, so to even begin to tackle that question, we need a benchmark, right? A gold standard. Before you can fix something, you gotta know what it's supposed to look like. So let's dive in. What does science and engineering tell us a normal, healthy spine actually is? So check this out. Your neck is designed with this beautiful, gentle, forward-facing curve. It's called the cervical lordosis. Now think of it like the suspension on a high-performance car. It's a natural shock absorber, and its entire job is to protect the most critical parts of your nervous system, your spinal cord and your brainstem. For it to do that job right, that curve needs to be strong, somewhere between 35 and 45 degrees. That's the idea. All right, now we get to the big problem, what I like to call the pain deception. This is one of the biggest, most dangerous myths in modern health today. So let's just ask it directly. Does no pain automatically equal healthy? A lot of us think so, but you're about to see some research that is, well, it's a real eye-opener. Okay, get this. A massive study in a top spine journal looked at MRIs of people walking around feeling totally fine, no pain whatsoever. In their 20s, over a third of them, 37%, already had measurable disc degeneration. Actual wear and tear. By the time they hit their 40s, that number skyrockets to 68%. And remember, these people feel nothing. This damage is happening completely under the radar. So what about when you hit 50? It gets even crazier. By age 50, a staggering 80%, that's 4 out of every 5 people walking around with zero symptoms, have real, measurable, visible damage in their spine. And here's the real kicker. Most of them have absolutely no idea it's happening. Your body just doesn't have a check engine light for this kind of problem. The damage is silent. It can brew for years, even decades, before you ever feel that first twinge of pain. Pain isn't the warning sign. It's the final alarm bell going off way too late. So, okay, we've established there's a silent problem, but what does it actually do to you? Well, this is where things get really serious, because when your spine starts to shift away from that normal, healthy structure, it puts your entire body under constant low-grade stress. And the consequences? They're devastating. Just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got ideal posture, head perfectly balanced, everything flowing smoothly. But on the other, you see that forward head posture. And listen, that's not just a cosmetic issue. It's a massive mechanical problem. It literally puts tension on your spinal cord. It can choke off nerve flow, it can reduce blood flow to your brain, and it can even crush your ability to take a full deep breath. And speaking of breathing, you are not going to believe this. Research shows that for every single inch your head moves forward, you can lose up to 30% of your lung capacity. 30%. Think about what that means. That's less oxygen getting to your muscles, to your organs, to your brain. It affects your energy, your ability to focus, your entire quality of life, every single moment of every single day. And what happens when that already stressed out, weakened spine gets hit with a major trauma, like a car crash? It's a recipe for disaster. Just look at the stats on whiplash. Half of the people injured never, ever fully recover, and 1 in 4 are left with a permanent disability for the rest of their lives. That is the ultimate, heartbreaking cost of ignoring a problem that's been building for years. Okay, so this is all pretty heavy stuff, I know. But how in the world do you fight a silent enemy? Well, we've already established you can't go by how you feel. You have to make the invisible visible. And the only way to do that is with objective, scientific measurement. So here's how we do it. It all starts with a deep dive, a really comprehensive consultation and exam. From there, we use digital postural analysis to get hard data, to map out exactly what's going on. And finally, advanced X-ray analysis lets us see the actual structure of your spine with absolute clarity. The key here is, we don't guess, we test. And once we have that data, once we can see the root of the problem, that's when the real work can begin. We can start the proven process of actually correcting the structure. And this isn't about just masking the pain for a few hours. This is about restoring your body's foundation. It's about getting you back to normal. And does it work? Well, the proof is right here. This is from a high-level randomized controlled trial. Before correction, the average neck curve was just 14.6 degrees, super weak and unstable. After only 10 weeks, it more than doubled to over 32 degrees. But what does that mean for you? It means pain scores dropped from a 5.5 all the way down to a 1.9. And disability? It plummeted from almost 36% down to under 4%. That's not just feeling better, that is getting your life back. But true healing is more than just structure. Your nervous system is the master controller, right? It runs your whole stress response system. And when it's under constant fire from bad posture, it can actually burn through crucial brain chemicals, stuff like serotonin and GABA, that you need to feel good and manage pain. So supporting your body's chemistry, your metabolic health, is another absolutely critical piece of the puzzle for a real, long-lasting recovery. So when you boil it all down, it really comes to a choice about your future. It's about where you're going to put your investment, in yourself. And really, there are two paths you can take. You can be proactive. You can invest in your health now, correct the root cause, and preserve your quality of life for decades to come. Or you can wait. You can be reactive. And that means spending the rest of your life just managing symptoms, facing the massive costs of disability, and basically paying for your sickness instead of investing in your health. Think about this for a second. The annual cost of car accidents in the US is over $240 billion. That's not just some abstract number. That's the cost of human suffering, of disability, a huge chunk of which is spinal trauma. By taking action now, by making sure your spine is strong and healthy, you're doing everything you can to make sure you never become part of that statistic. Look, at the end of the day, your posture is so much more than just how you stand. It's literally a window into the health of your nervous system. It tells a story about where you are right now and where you're headed. So now that you know, the only real question is, what are you going to choose to see?